We start with LSU baseball, and as Jeremy mentioned, the Tigers busted out the bats in a big way. Disappointing Friday night loss, 7-2. Look, Hunter Barco was terrific for Florida in that one, and threw 7 shutout innings against LSU. The Tigers fall to 1-3 in SEC play, but they came back on Saturday, win 16-4, and then come back Sunday and win 11-2. Outscored the Gators 27-6 over the last 18 innings of the series and get a huge road series victory over the Florida Gators. Your thoughts as you watched it unfold?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a long weekend starting on Friday night. I'm like, man, this could get brutal, especially like you said, Marco had it going, and you see how just useful it is when you have a pitcher that you can stretch out over 5 or 6 innings and really help your bullpen out, because it seemed like after that, when Florida got to their bullpen, those bats really made them pay, especially on Saturday's game. So I think for me over the weekend, I think just seeing Braden Joubert swing the bat the way he did, I think the way Travinsky swung the bat the way he did, and getting the contributions from those guys, I think it just puts this lineup over the top. What you're going to get from the first 4 guys, really, and really seeing Trey Morgan hit a home run. I think everyone really just had a great weekend over the weekend, and it was great to see Mikael Hilliard kind of get that swagger, that confidence back to be able to get outs in the SEC. Something he struggled with last weekend. I think he came back and bounced back in a huge way, and the team really needed that. So this is LSU baseball. We know we can play like and know we can have, especially when you're getting pitchers that can get outs. These bats are definitely going to show up more times than not, and that was great to see.
Before we get into the inner workings of the weekend as they went on, I'll just kind of go into kind of my experience with it. This is a me problem. It's a Hunt problem. It's fixable. I just choose not to fix it. Instead of just enjoying the season for what it is the way I want to, I make a point to check my Twitter mentions and look at Tiger droppings and see when people are texting me and talking about things. And this fan base, there's a portion of it that just reacts too violently to everything that goes on in a 56-game baseball season and a 18-game conference basketball season. They react to it like a football game. And far too often you lose a Tuesday night game and, well, this team just doesn't have it. They're not any good. This coach doesn't have it. He's not good. Or you look very bad in one of your conference games. Oh, well, they're too flawed. They're not going anywhere. This is a rebuild. And you just, instead of just relaxing and realizing these are 56 of these, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. They're not done losing weekends. They're not done looking terrible on a Friday night. They're not done winning weekends either, because they can hit. This team is pretty good. How good? I'm not sure exactly right now. There are some serious flaws that did not exactly work themselves out over the weekend, but they're going to hit. And they're not going to score 16 every Saturday, but it's a tough lineup to get through. And once you dealt with Barco on Friday, LSU handled just about everybody else that Florida threw out there. Now, I said going into Friday night's game, I really wanted LSU's lineup to step up against an ace and really play the part and show how good the offense could be. And he goes out there and he throws 7 shutout innings. So you would say they kind of failed that test. They got 2 base runners in the second inning. They got a runner in scoring position in the third. They got 2 more base runners in the fourth. They got a base runner in the sixth. They led off the seventh with a single. They got 7 base runners in the 7 innings. They couldn't get the big hit. They flew out to the warning track twice, but Barco got the better of them. And this is kind of the way I would equate it to the football fan who does like baseball but is more of a football person. What you faced on Friday was at Alabama in football. You're dealing with a good lineup, an elite first-round pitcher on the road. Can LSU play with them? Yeah, they can, and I wish they would have played better on Friday. But that's not a game you're going to win very often. And I think Florida in game ones this year in SEC play, they're 2-0. They're going to go 9-1, maybe 10-0. I mean, look, Georgia's got a stud, and maybe it's not there. Maybe they go 8-2, but they're going to be very, very tough to beat on Friday. The depth of their staff is where they have issues, and that's what LSU got to. But as disappointing as game 1 was, it was really nice for LSU to come back in games 2 and 3 and flex their muscles. And that's who this team can be. And it wasn't just Cruz or just Barry. You mentioned Joubert. Travinsky hits a couple of home runs. Thompson with a big hit. Like, a lot of guys contributed. And I think if you noticed the energy in the ballpark over the last 2 games, there was a lot of chippiness. There's a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of crowd energy. Florida's got some actual fan support now. They built a new stadium. this was a big weekend, I think, for like the maturity, the growth, the togetherness of LSU's team on the road.
Yeah, that was huge. It was huge. And to me, I think it was Sunday's game. It just seems like they're like 8-hit batters. I
Yeah.
didn't know what that was about. It seemed like it got both teams riled up a little bit. You saw, when we homered, whole team's coming out of the dugout. So everyone's going to be real fired up about that. And really, I think that confidence and that swagger that this team is playing with, like I've seen all season from them, they're going to need it. And especially in road environments, like you said, like that. I thought they did a phenomenal job after Friday, bouncing back and just really showing the depth of this team. And I love the switch of moving Thompson to second base. He just looks a lot more comfortable there. Getting Doty at shortstop, I think that was a great switch by Coach Johnson because the fielding, I didn't notice it. Normally you're like, okay, we're going to have 2 or 3 errors here. We're going to screw up this double play, or we're not going to be able to, get this infield ground ball to first base. And to me, I think they did a great job shoring that up. And you pair that with the bats, man, this team can definitely be really good in the SEC.
Yeah, I don't know if that move's going to be permanent or not. I think Thompson needs to clear his head a little bit. It's easier to play second base. Cade played shortstop in high school. Most of these guys did. So he can do it right now. Is he have the ceiling at shortstop that Thompson does? No, he doesn't have the range or the arm. But Thompson's kicking around a little bit, and you can't have it. So right now, I'm fine with that, and we'll see how long they can run through that. I was disappointed a little bit in Blake Money's outing. He threw a lot of changeups, which I liked. He commanded the fastball pretty well. The leadoff homer was not that bad a pitch. He got a fastball in the inner half, and the kid got his arms inside it and rode it out. That was just a really good swing. But in the 5th, he's given up 2 home runs. It's 2-0, and the defense cracked on the bunt that McManus tried to throw to second and threw it wide, and then all hell broke loose. You did get 2 more outs after that, but with 2 outs, and that would have been the 3rd out if you make the play on the bunt and get the out at first base. With 2 outs, they hit an RBI single and then a 2-run homer, and all of a sudden it's 6-0. And look, they hit Money hard pretty much each inning. He's a good SEC pitcher. He would be a really solid number 2 and an excellent 3. This team's asking him to be 1, and so you're going to be overmatched a little bit on the mound on some weekends. Like Ole Miss doesn't have an ace they're throwing out there. You didn't really have one with Texas A&M. Florida does. Georgia does. Mississippi State doesn't really. Arkansas doesn't really. So they're going to be okay more often than not. But when you face a Barco, that's when you're going to be up against it a little bit. And Money just wasn't his equal. But the team came back and rallied behind him over the next 2 days. And Mikhail Hilliard on the mound, that's what he's capable of giving you right there. He threw into the 6th inning. He gave up 4 runs. He kept you in it, and the offense is going to have to bail you out. He's not going to go out there more often than not and throw 6 shutout innings. Like that's just not. But he threw 100 pitches. He gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. He struck out 7. The curveball was difficult to hit at times. That's what you can ask for out of Mikhail Hilliard. If we understand what the offense is going to be. We're trying to get the pitching where it can be. That's what Mikhail Hilliard can be for this team. He can go out there most game 2s. I say Saturdays, but now they're playing 4 Thursday series. So I say game 2s, and he can get you into the middle innings. If your offense is up to the challenge, he can do it. You don't have to score 16, but you're probably going to have to score 6 to win a game that he plays, and they're capable of doing that. And I thought Mikhail was decent on Saturday.
Yeah, he was decent. I think that's exactly what you need from him, especially, we've been begging for it all year. Can we get 4 innings out of Guy? Can we get 5 innings out of Guy? And he gave that to the bullpen. He gave you guys to get your, one of your better, guys coming out of the bullpen to get the opportunity to finish that game off. So I think for me, I think they're probably going to stand back there. I know Coach Johnson and Coach Kelly said, they're going to move some stuff around. They're going to figure some stuff out. It looks like they're going to stand pat with Hilliard, and I think if he can continue to go out there weekend to weekend and find a way to end up in the 5th or 6th inning, and I'm not saying he's going to have a no-hitter or no run scored or anything like that, but if he can find a way to get outs and keep the damage down, I think that's exactly what you need, especially after Blake Money pitches Friday.
And then they went to the kids on Sunday, and they responded. Sammy Dutton comes out there to start the game, 3 2/3, and he got through it just allowing the 1 hit. He got himself into a little bit of trouble, but wiggled off the hook with the bases loaded in the 1st. Got the ground ball and really competed. And I think against a good lineup, did a good job. Then they went to Grant Taylor, who I thought was going to start a game this weekend. I mean, that was based on our discussion with Coach Kelly on Wednesday saying, got to get some of these guys out there. And he didn't start, but he ate the rest of the game up. He throws 5 1/3, does give up 4 hits and 2 runs, but he struck out 6. And the thing I liked is his 83rd pitch of the game, which was the last pitch of the game, he blew a high fastball by a guy. There's still some life in that arm at 81 pitches. So it's early. They're still trying to figure some things out with the pitching staff. They're going to push a lot of buttons, and that's something that we didn't know about Jay Johnson. I could have told you from jump that Paul Maneri was going to try every single thing he could possibly find to try to find a spark. I don't know about Jay Johnson, but he certainly is pushing some buttons now with the catcher spot and getting Travinsky in there, switching the middle infielders, going with Pearson or Jobert. Or, it's been a lot, but he's kind of found a little something here with Grant Taylor and Sam Dutton. I would expect you'll see them again next week in a similar role. Do we expect them to finish every game and go 9 between the two of them? That's a lot to ask, but they've got the talent. I think specifically Taylor, that's what an SEC arm looks like. It's 93. The slider's good. Like Dutton's good too, but Taylor, you can see it. And Jay Johnson said in postgame on Sunday, I wish these guys would have pitched like this in the fall so we could have identified this a little bit early, but they're coming now, and they were good on Sunday.
Oh yeah, they were definitely good, and I thought Dutton did a phenomenal job getting some runners on base and finding timely ways to get out of those innings. He was in harm's way, especially the start of the game, but I thought he did a great job continuing to pitch strikes, finding a way to get out those innings, and really set it up for Grant to come in there and pitch the way he has. I mean, he's getting that fastball up to 95, 96 sometimes, and when he's really feeling it. So a guy like that, especially if he has an off-speed pitch that he can depend on, which I've seen him throw for strikes. He can find a way to get outs too. So these are two very, very young guys that I think this team is desperately going to need to find a way to get outs, especially over the weekend when you don't know if you're going to, try Floyd out there again to be a weekend starter. So I thought they both did a tremendous job going out there and pitching over the weekend.
If you would have told me going over there that neither Fontenot nor Razelman was going to pitch the entire weekend, I would have said, well, that sounds like we're getting swept. They didn't, and they're going with some other guys. So, look, the deal is, for me, from my perspective, you still have a question mark at the top of your rotation. Money's okay, but he's not an ace at this point. You still got question marks at the back end, but Hilliard can be solid, and maybe we found something with these two young guys. You're going to have to see coming up this week against Auburn, who's not great, and then there's a potential solution, but it's not there yet. You're still not an elite defensive team. You're not even an average defensive team at this point, but I think there's a chance they could be. I'm not sold this team's going to be awful defensively the entire year. I'm just not quite there. But that's a question for sure. And I know they can hit. I'm certain they can hit. And some days they won't in a given day. But through the course of a weekend, you play them 27 innings, they're going to get hits, and they're going to score runs. So I still think it's a pretty good team. I still think it has serious question marks. And I think that this was a great series to go on the road and win. Haven't won a road series in Gainesville since 2012. They went on the road and did that. Not a lot of teams will do that this year, and LSU was able to do it. That's a really, really nice bounce-back win. And honestly, if you just showed me the schedule as of 2 weeks ago, and I said, okay, they're going to start home against A&M, and they're going to go to Gainesville, they'll probably go 3-3, and that's what they are. They did it. They reversed it from what I thought it would be, but right now you're 3-3. You're trying to get somewhere around 17 or 18 wins in the league if you can. That's a stretch for this team right now, but it's possible. But you're probably in the spot you thought you would be in.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.